Hi, my name is Grayson Manning. I go by Arrow NWA on YouTube and Instagram. And I made a poor choice in my last video. I was making a video on making spars, a new rear spar for a Sonex I've been working on. And there were a few complications that kind of led to a poor decision that I made, and it's been brought up on the Sonex forum and in my comments on YouTube, and I thought I would address it and just kind of give you all a warning. The first problem we ran into was initially the whole reason we needed to make a new spar was there were rats' nests in the wings. They'd been in a rack and rats had come in and built nests, and it corroded the rear spar. Not a huge issue. It obviously needs addressed, so I tore the spars out, and about that time Sonex went out of business, which made things significantly harder. There are documents and things that allowed me to be able to make a new rear spar, but in the process of that I had a couple of blanks cut that were the right width and length, and finding a metal brake to break 10-foot long sheets of aluminum is hard, as you can believe. So I talked to a few guys at my airport. Ultimately, I'm the one to blame, just because I'm the one doing the repair. But we kind of just came to the decision that we would split it into 4-foot sections, because that would put the joints at a station. So wherever there's a rib there, or wherever there's a splice, it would be at a rib. So yes, I understand that's not something that I would normally do, but I couldn't, and none of my friends from the airport could find a metal brake that would break 10-foot pieces. So we decided to split it into 4-foot sections so that we could fit it on a regular size metal brake. The next problem we ran into, and I've seen comments that are saying I use 2024 T3 or all of these things, and this is more about keeping y'all safe so you don't make the mistake I made, but also I'm not a fool. I come across as a fool, and I understand that when I make one poor choice, but I know not to use 2024 and try and bend it at a tight radius. I was using 6061 T6, but the problem is when you anneal it, it takes away that T6 heat treatment. And I understood that, and it was a poor choice. I was under the impression that the rear spar on the Sonex was not heavy load bearing. Because of the way it attaches to the fuselage, I was not under the impression that that was going to be pertinent and that annealing the edge of the metal would not be a big deal. And another thing is, and I want to apologize sincerely to the guys that commented on my video and just the way that I responded to that, because it was unkind in the first place. The thing is, I woke up this morning and I had 10 comments on my video and were like, hey, I wouldn't do that, I wouldn't do that, I wouldn't do that. And when I make these videos, it's hard because there's a lot of people who think they know and act like they do. I understand what I'm doing 90% of the time. I acknowledge that this time was a big mistake, and a mistake that could have gotten people hurt. And but a lot of times with work I'm doing, they assume that I have no idea, or they assume they know better, and there's always people. In any video you watch, there's always someone who thinks they know better. And in this case, they did. And I just pushed that off. I didn't take it seriously, and I should have. So it's good, and I appreciate it that the community kind of rallied behind this and acknowledged it and sent it to Sonex. So Sonex reached out, and I was able to get in touch with them and talk to them and kind of address the issue. So don't anneal your spars. That is stupid, and I know that, and I did going in, but I was just running into issue after issue after issue, and I just made the wrong choice. So I'm going to be buying a spar, full rear spar from Sonex, and installing that on the airplane instead of just making more foolish choices.